Hi, I'm Lisa Eddy, your host of the Sacred Beauty Lifestyle Podcast. I'm so glad that you've made your way here and that I'm now sharing these podcasts here on YouTube. In my 25 years in the beauty industry, I have worked with thousands of women. I have witnessed so many beautiful, powerful, smart, and kind women who are hiding instead of shining. My mission is to empower you to own your true power and beauty inside and out, to be truly confident and shine through your skin. Lord knows the world needs your light. I'm committed to helping you understand the choices that you are making that are working for or against you. I'll also be sharing beauty tips and tools your mother never taught you, and together we will bust urban beauty myths. Make sure to subscribe today to receive episodes right when they are released. For those who prefer listening to the audio podcast, head over to sacredbeautylifestyle.com. That's sacredbeautylifestyle.com, and you can find the platform of your choice. Enjoy. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sacred Beauty Lifestyle Podcast. I am super excited to share Kris Franken with you today. She is a storyteller, a mystic, and a way shower. She's a spiritual author and mentor, certified meditation teacher, and energy healer, as well as a chocolate obsessed yogi. Kris loves to inspire and empower others to live in their deepest alignment with their heart's greatest purpose. She's written 2 books, and I believe there's another on the way, 7 sets of oracle cards, has a bachelor degree in psychology and sociology, and over 15 years of experience as a professional writer, including as a beauty editor and health editor. She lives gently in paradise on Bundjalung land in Byron Bay, Australia. Without further ado, let me introduce to you the lovely Kris. Thank you for being here today, Kris.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. It's such an honor. Thank you.
Yes, I love sharing and promoting women, especially, but anyone really who is here with a big imprint and message on their heart to make great impact on the world. And that was how you came into the forefront to invite on.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
And is the chocolate obsessed yogi a thing? Because I know a few chocolate obsessed yogis.
I don't know how I came up with that. I'm fully chocolate obsessed. I am definitely on that train, and I've always loved yogi. I guess I'm definitely the imperfect yogi. I mean,
Mm.
chocolate, right?
Well, it's funny because, some would argue, well, chocolate is the food of the gods, right?
It definitely is. It's the food of the goddess. Chocolate is so uplifting and heart opening. I love cacao. I even hold cacao circles for women. I love celebrating that medicine.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love cacao as well. And I love that you do that. I don't know. I feel like we're going to connect somehow in person one day. Definitely want to make it to your neck of the woods. And sacred cacao ceremonies are so healing. I think people don't often understand. So I love that you brought that in, how the plant medicine is so powerful, yet so subtle.
It is. It's profound, actually. I've been on this chocolate obsession for many years, and it wasn't always with good chocolate. I moved up here. I discovered some of the best chocolate I've ever found in my life. Gradually, I got rid of the cocoa. I got into the chocolate made of cacao. And then at a retreat that I had at the beginning of the year, I was like, right, that's it. I really want to host my first cacao ceremony. And the feedback I got was so phenomenal that I was like, I think this is it, when you get such good feedback. So now I have women in my home. There's usually 6 or 7 of us. It's really tight. We connect with the medicine of the cacao. We do it in sacred ceremony, which is just, as you know, just that focused intention, that heart opening, beautiful, loving invitation to bring in that medicine into our life and to allow it to work its way wherever it needs to go. And what I love to do for women is take them on an adventure within. So we go into the heart temple, we explore whoever's there, we go on a journey meeting maybe spirit animals or just meeting with Mama Cacao herself and the stories that come out of these journeys are so wild and so moving that I just love that I get to share this with women.
It's fantastic. And when we come together with great purpose and intention, the healing is profound. I'm curious if you've had this experience, or for maybe some of our listeners who either may not have heard of sacred cacao ceremonies, or intrigued, or already know and are like, yes, 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 I love it too. I wonder if you've had this experience where one of perhaps my first cacao experience, I was with a woman who really holds sacred space. She's super connected to the land and the people who harvest the cacao, and it's all hand picked, and the purity, right, is so high. We had a meditation where after we were sitting, in circle. When we were doing the meditation, we were lying down actually in circle. But then when we came up at the end and we were, after we journaled and we were talking and sharing, many of us, like almost the whole group, I think we had the same vision where we saw like these vines and we had like the same healing meditation.
I love that so much. Sometimes after I take the women on a journey, I find that when we come back into the circle, like two of them will have seen something really similar, like ladybugs, and then two of them will have seen like a grandmother figure. And then, so we get a lot of similarities, even though I don't mention these particulars at all. And I love that. I love it when people get to almost meet up with each other in spirit in this other realm. It's so exciting.
It's such a great reminder of how connected we all really are, how similar we all really are, how connected we all really are. Um, so thank you for sharing that and for that beautiful work that you're doing for people. So I'm curious if you can tell us a little bit about your journey and how you became a spiritual author, a little bit about where you are today, perhaps.
Oh, I'd love to share. So I live in Byron Bay. I love this place here. But I started out in Canada. I was born in Toronto, Canada. My parents moved around a lot because they just loved moving around. So my dad had a job where he could do that. So I was born in Toronto. I lived in Sydney, Australia, and then Melbourne, and then Detroit, Michigan, and then back to Sydney for a really long time where we got settled. But then 3.5 years ago, we moved. My husband and I and our two kids moved up to Byron Bay. I made a joke with my husband about, I'm guessing it's now 4.5 years ago. I made a joke with him. We were out one night, and he was going to be working from home full time, and I was going to be working from home full time. We had made that decision. And I said, well, what's going to stop us moving to Byron Bay? And he said, let's go. And I was like, I was joking. And he's like, I'm not. So we live in the most beautiful area. I believe it's the most beautiful area of Australia. The people here are not all spiritual. They wouldn't all call themselves spiritual, but it's very spiritual land. We live on volcanic soil here. It's rich. The animal life is rich. The people here are just so predominantly really open-minded, open-hearted, really community-minded people. And this is where I want to raise my kids. I want to raise them in the wild. So we lived my dream was always to live by the beach, and that was where we first landed, north of Byron Bay. We lived there for 3 years. And then some point last year, my husband and I both got a little bit itchy, and we were like, the valleys around here are so divine. So we bought 40 acres in the rainforest, and it is so wild here. I mean, there's a python living in our roof. There's wallabies that hop across our grass every morning. There's a creek that we go swimming in naked because we can. There's no one else around. We have friends who live on the property with us, and we're so blessed to be creating our own community here. We have an outrageously big veggie garden, which we had to do from scratch, but so there's been quite an initiation moving here onto the land. This is like nothing I've ever done before. And it's shifted me. Growing up, I grew up in cities. I worked in cities. How I became a mentor and way shower is literally just following my heart. I mean, I worked in hospitality for a really long time. That led me into journalism. I really wanted to be a food editor because I'm super food obsessed. If the listeners aren't sure by now with my chocolate obsession, it's all food. It's all good food. um, and so I really wanted to become a food editor. I actually worked closely with some food editors and worked out that they're really focused on food, and I don't want to be focused on one thing. So that led me to become a beauty and health editor, where I got to write about a whole variety of topics. I loved that. That led me to become a freelance writer. Then I started having babies, and the babies are very activating. And I really knew after my second baby was born 7.5 years ago that I was going to be an author. So yes, thank you for mentioning the books. I love my book babies too. My second book is coming out in February, and I've really found a depth to my calling when it comes to writing books.
I love that. Such a journey you have. And you mentioned something about feeling more alive there and how that connection with nature can really bring us into ourselves, into unity, into and being in community, right?
Oh, 100%. It's just incredible. We moved here in January of this year. At the end of February, we had a huge flood in the region. It was so devastating to every single person that I knew here. If your house wasn't flooded, you lost your car. If you didn't lose your car, it was just this huge, devastating ripple effect that went right through the community. But what happened afterwards was the most beautiful coming together of a supportive community I've ever experienced in my life. It was profound. And that's the mother, that's the river moving through us, moving through our land, bringing us closer together than ever. And so while I live in the wild, and while there were landslides on the property next to me, and I had a very interesting journey with finding trust and putting my feet on the ground here and saying, I trust you. I trust that we're taken care of. And that experience for me, I'll never forget. It was just huge. A lot of us had to relearn our connection with Mother Nature, with trust, with the indigenous spirit here is incredible. And I felt the support of them as well, because that's very much alive. It's as alive as all of us are. Even though there's no indigenous that live on our land, I see them, I feel them, and their messages are loud and clear. It's so that's alive. I mean, alive is raw. Alive isn't just bliss and ecstasy and doing naked cartwheels on the grass. It's alive is, I mean, that's a part of it, of course, but alive is being so raw that you just feel like you're a part of the elements every single day. That's my goal. That's why I'm here.
Kind of getting stripped down literally, or figuratively, but really literally. It sounds like the healing and community that was born out of that trauma was profound. And I completely think that that is part of some of the gifts that we're explaining or experiencing rather during this intense time on planet Earth is holding each other in our pain and seeing that we are, as I was saying earlier, that we are much more similar than we are different. And that when you go through trauma, you experience a much more compassion and empathy for each other and self, right?
Absolutely. It was so beautiful to witness. The community around here had been, like a lot of communities around the world, we were quite on edge with each other. We knew our people, and we knew the people that we felt good around. But overall, there was a sense of edginess after what we'd experienced over the last couple of years here. It really put us on edge. And so after the flood, when we came back together, while there were so many broken hearts, broken homes, broken families, it was just so devastating. What happened was this, like you say it perfectly, we were all stripped bare, and we all came together, and there was no more, should I hug you? Should I not hug you? I'm a little bit concerned about the hugging thing and whether you accept me for my opinions or not. When we came back together, it was just hugs all round? And can I cook you dinner? And can I take care of your kids? And can I help you clean your shop? And what else can I do for you? Because we all were in it together. We all felt it together.
I love that so much. And that makes me think of something you said earlier, because what you were just speaking of is about serving. Like, we really all are all here to serve each other and humanity at large. And we all have profound gifts that when we go through shit can be cracked open. That's how, right? And the cracks are how the light gets in, and etc. You were speaking earlier, and it sounds to me like you were always sort of in service, is what I heard, a thread of what you were saying, a thread of service in your life and your work. Yeah.
Yeah, in my personal life,
Or in your work, you were talking about some of
in
the
my
stuff that you
work.
did, and I heard service. Um, does that,
Yeah, I've always, yes, definitely. Sorry, I've
it's
always
okay.
wanted to be helpful to other people. I mean, the reason why I have a degree in psychology and sociology was my intention was to be a counselor for families and for couples. And I had that idea when I was 17, and that was a drive coming out of my home, which I have amazing parents. I have an amazing family. But there was tension, and I saw a way that I could be of service at 17. So that's why I came out with that degree when I was 21. I think I'd graduated. I didn't have the grades to pursue psychology, so I worked in hospitality, and that's just moment to moment service. That is non-stop. How can I help? How can I help? How can I help? But I loved it because I'm such a people person, and I love food, and I loved managing these restaurants, and I love organization, so it was perfect for me. Coming into journalism, at first the intention was not of service. If I'm looking back now and just being really honest, the intention was I really want to be a paid professional writer. And of course, that eventually turned into service because all my writing is about empowerment. All my writing is how can I help people see themselves clearer, not to see my truth. I'm not interested in you like agreeing with me or or anything like that. Like everything I write is, can you see yourself in this? Can you know yourself a little more? Can you love yourself a little deeper? Like, and so the how can I serve now shows up in so many different ways, from social media to the books to definitely mentoring. That's why I want to mentor people, is to really bring them out of their conditioning and into their own light.
Wow, that is amazing that you actually knew at 17 that you wanted to serve through psychology, that you saw that that was an avenue that you could serve, and that you actually were licensed, or studied this through and had a certification by 21. Wow, and that's what I was wondering earlier, is like, how did that all happen? And what is so fascinating with you getting into coaching, I have had firsthand experience, as well as several of clients that I've worked with and several friends that have actually been quite hurt by coaches because they unintentionally, unskillfully cause wounds in their clients because they don't understand the psychology or haven't done some of the deep work. That's a huge part of it, that then they see that's coming up in their client and they can project and attack. So this is really beautiful that you have both and are able to merge this. Can you speak to what I just shared?
That's so important. We're all walking each other home, and the way I see things is that I'm reaching out to people who are maybe in some capacity, just like the little. I'm not reaching out way back there. I'm reaching out to the person right behind me, and I'm taking their hands and I'm saying, "Hey, honey, I've been through what you're going through, or I can see your confusion." And and as a psychic as well, I also can see little cool little things that come through that can really help them because it speaks to something beyond what two humans can muster up together. But the importance of being with someone who's doing the work, who's done the work, who's done the study, who's really gone deep, because then you have someone who is clear and who just wants the best for you. But you're right, the projections are so hurtful and so lasting. And if you're in that space and you're wanting to be a coach for whatever reason, we all have our reasons. And we all have our own insecurities. But if it's the insecurities that are driving you as a coach to want other people, I mean, it's the whole, don't you agree with me? You know, there's this conversation and you can see it in people, right? And they just want you to agree with them. But really, I've had mentors, I've had some of the best mentors, and if I can challenge them and disagree with them, I see them step back a little bit, and in their greatness, really, they go, okay, I love that you did that, and now I'm seeing things from a different perspective. Because I'm a inner rebel. I don't seek to challenge people, but I just have that in me to go, wait a minute, but that's not for everyone. Well, wait a minute, you just prescribed that for me, but I'm not feeling it, and what I'm feeling is this. And so if I have a client that starts to challenge me on something, I now have that, because I've seen it, because I've felt it. I have that capacity to stand back and go, okay, I'm just going to hold this for you, because I'm not always right.
What you have just shared is so powerful. And I'm glad you brought that back up, because a few moments ago, when you said that you don't need to get everyone to agree with you, that's not your mission. Your mission is to tap people into who they really are and their truths. And there are higher truths that, like, sometimes a truth is a truth is a truth, whatever way you look at it. And then there's your truth and there's my truth, and there's different things for different people. I think what you just shared there is so important, because that can create so much unnecessary discord, um, arguing, pain, instead of being able to just go, that's not for me. Or one of my favorite uh, ways to respond when I have a different opinion is, I have a different opinion.
Yeah.
Like, just super simple, and not charged, but I have another opinion about that.
I love that so much. That's so clear.
Yeah, I've done a lot of coaching. I've had a lot of therapy. I've done a lot of work on
Yeah.
myself.
See, that's the thing, right? Not only do I have a degree in psychology, but as soon as I got that degree, I realized how helpful psychologists were. And I knew back when I was 21 that I had some childhood stuff that needed tending to. I also had a little bit of an infatuation with alcohol, needed tending to. And I could see in some of my relationships that things were not that easy, and I wanted to take responsibility for my side of it. So I started seeing psychologists when I was 21. Like, I've seen so many psychs and shrinks and counselors, and that got more and more spiritual as I developed my own spirituality on my own spiritual path. I remember sitting down with a woman who, she just said she was a psychologist, but after we got talking, she says, well, from my Buddhist perspective. And I just went, yes, this is holistic. I crave holistic everything. So when people come to that realm with something more, when anyone comes to coaching with something more, right? When anyone comes to counseling. So I've been seeing psychologists for such a long time, and that turned into seeing more healers and more mentors. And so I've never, ever stopped doing the work on myself, because I know that that's what brings me closer and closer to this inner bliss, this inner joy, and this peace.
Mm, amen.
Mm. Yo.
That's like gospel right there. And something you said, uh, having done so much work on yourself and continuing to do so much work on yourself is what allows you to take people further, because you can only take your clients as far as you've gone.
Oh, wow. Yes. Wow, yes. We all have our limits. That's what makes us human, and that's what gives us something more to discover. Really, limits are gifts. And what I love is I've really pushed myself with my own mentors over the years. I've really found mentors that have just seen me. Like, I talked about, okay, I had lifelong anxiety until I was about 39, 40. When I was about 40, when this started to dissolve, I had a mentor, and we were in a group, I was doing this group mentorship for 10 months. This cracked me open every single time. Like, I had a mentor who had done everything herself. And so our capacity was unlimited for what we could heal and know and learn and experience with her every time. And that's what I want to be for people. That's why I'll never stop doing the work. And I showed up one day and someone brought up anxiety. And I said, yeah, I've got really, I've got pretty bad anxiety as well. And she looked straight at me with love, with the most powerful look of love. And she said, what's the payoff? And I went, in all my years of therapy, no one ever looked at me and said, so what's the payoff? And she said it with so much love that it wasn't that confronting. It was so beautiful and it really cracked me wide open. And so now I can actually see that no BS approach, how profound that shifts you. And that's the other thing about the coaching scene, really, is that there's a lot of, I wouldn't say BS, but there's a lot of,
Tap
I'm
dancing?
trying to find, yeah, tap dancing. That's it. I was gonna, enabling was way too strong a word, but tap dancing is right where it's at. There's tap dancing around what's going on. Really, there's a payoff to everything, and whether you're conscious of it or not, sitting with that, sitting with your ego, sitting with what comes up, can be the biggest game changer of your life. And it was for me because I have had 5 years without anxiety. And that has led me to higher and higher explorations of my gift, my purpose, why I'm here. And there's just little by little, there's nothing stopping me. There's less stopping me. There's less in my way. But that's because I sat down with the shadow and went, right, let's go.
Mm. What is the payoff? That is such a good question. And you brought in an important point because you did not feel judged, is what I heard you say, that she held such love and compassion for your circumstance, that container allowed you to really look, right? I have a girlfriend who I love dearly. She's a soul sister. I have several girlfriends that are much younger than me. It's funny. I feel like age is bizarre, right? I don't believe our spirit ages. So I have a young life force energy often. Like, people don't typically believe I'm 50. So I'll often attract like 30-year-olds, 35-year-olds as friends and lovers, which is kind of funny. We're telling everything here on the Sacred Beauty Lifestyle podcast, no secrets. And so I had said to her, when she had reacted really strongly and was kind of pissy and rude and, human, and I said to her, you can say anything to me, it's just how you say it. And to this day, she says, oh my God, like, that impacted me so much. Like, that changed the world for her. And it sounds like that was the same experience that you had. Someone must have gifted me
Yes,
this somewhere too.
yes. And all you need to do is experience that once. And it
Yeah.
changes you. It changes you as a friend. It changes you as a parent. It changes you as a lover. It changes you in every way. You can say anything. And it's that real, when you get to know yourself deeply, you know how important that pause, that breath is. That, I go from being charged to back in my being. I am responsible for my energy. I call it all back in. And then, yeah, I can say whatever I want. That's so true. That's so beautiful. I really love that story. You
Thank
can
you.
you can share whatever you want. It's how. It's what's your intention. It's, are you in pain and trying to like to someone else? Like, what is your intention? What is your real intention? And that's going beyond the spiritual bypassing. But my intention was love. It's like, no, no, no. What was your real intention? Come on. There's a deeper intention to everything. You can state your intention as one thing. Underneath that, we're gonna feel your real intention, whether you're holding circle, whether you are a friend, whether you are a podcaster, whatever you're doing. if you are if you have the truest intention of the highest outcome, and if your heart is wide open, you're not going to hurt people. I mean, that's the power of love. If love is
Mm,
holding that space, I mean, anything can happen.
that's the power of love. I love, that's a song, Huey Lewis and the News, The Power of Love. But it also reminds me of Maya Angelou video I watched on YouTube, and she says, "Love liberates. Love liberates." So I wonder, darling Kris, if you could share a tip with our listeners, like maybe there's someone that's like, you know what? I do want to do some deeper work. I do feel a discord and I don't know which way to go. Do you have a suggestion on how to get started or how to find someone that's in alignment with you? Or what would you say to this person, our listeners?
I really do feel like mentors are one of the best stepping stones on the path of self discovery and of just smoothing out those edges within yourself. So, the first thing you need to know is that you're going to be doing the work, not your mentor. The mentor is there um, to hold that space so that it is safe for you to see what needs to be seen. And that's all it is, really. It's consciousness, it's awareness. That's the path, is awareness. There's not so much of what you need to be doing. It's how you're being with yourself, how you're being present with yourself. So read books that you're drawn to. Books can be game changers as well. Mentors can be game changers. And how do you know? That's a really good question. How do you know if a mentor or a coach or a counselor or a retreat is right for you? I mean, a retreat is is such a great way to really tend to your heart, and everything that's we've been through collectively and individually has been so big, and I think we all need big hugs right now. How do you know if someone is right for you? Is they see your highest potential, but also they feel like home, like you feel really comfortable with them, and yet you know you're going to be so beautifully challenged with them. Like, you know, something is going to stir and wake up. Your heart already knows, right? You look at them on their Instagram feed, you look at them on their website, you know something big can happen with them, but still you feel like home, you feel safe with them. So just watch what your ego is saying about them. Oh, they made $1 million in 2 years. Like, I'm going to go work for them. Okay, that's cool. Money's cool. We all need that, but where's your intention at? Where's your deeper intention at with that person? You just want to earn $1 million in 2 years so that you can post it in a reel on Instagram? Because that's okay. If that was the thought that came through, that's cool. Just acknowledge that and then move on. Like, what is it that you really want? Well, I really want to be in a community, or I really want to find my thing. I want to find my purpose, my blueprint. I really want to know like why I'm here. Okay, well then you need, like a soul purpose mentor or a career coach or whoever you're really drawn to, and someone who speaks your language as well as the language of spirit. So if you're reading something on Instagram with them and you're like, yeah, oh wow, yeah, they're really pointing to what it is that I want more of. Oh, that sounds really cool. And also they speak the language of spirit, not necessarily meaning that they're psychic, but they know like there's a bigger play going on right now. There's a higher purpose, there's a divine love that moves through all of us. If they're not really there, then they're just sort of that can be quite limiting, I feel, unless that's exactly where you're at. If you don't want someone speaking that, then that's cool. Most coaches and mentors will give you a free 30-minute discovery call, or you can email them and say, hey, I love your vibe. I love what you're sharing out there. I'm not sure if you're right for me. Can I ask you a few questions? So that's a really great way to get through to them and really connect with their energy one-on-one in that very simple way. Then you'll know. And so I talk about intuition a lot. Your body tells you when something is right for you. Your body will feel expansive and light. Your heart will be open and you'll think, wow, yeah, I feel quite good. Even if you're being challenged, yeah, okay. If something is not right for you, your gut tends to clench up a little bit and you feel a bit restricted, or you're feeling a little bit uneasy. That's when you know your body's telling you. So just tune into the wise one and listen.
Such a great detailed explanation. Thank you. And I wonder if you have a message that you would go back and share to your 20-year-old self. What would you tell 20-year-old Kris that you wish she knew back then?
That's such a great question. What would I tell 20-year-old Kris? still finishing up at university, thinking she's got it all planned, thinking she's got this mapped out for life. I would tell her, you know what I would tell her? I would tell her that um, when 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 I find myself in periods of confusion, frustration, failure, indecision, when things start to get really messy, just know that that is as perfect as the good jobs and the good days and the good rides, because things are always going to be messy, and it's the mess that calls us to expand, to look within, to find a more solid grounding. So I would say to her, just don't be afraid of getting things wrong and messing things up, because it's all a part of it.
Love it. And what is your big message that you would scream from mountaintops with perhaps a megaphone if or when given the chance?
Oh, I would love that. I'll see you there. We'll get our megaphones up on the mountain. Yeah. Let's go up to Mount Shasta together, because I love California and I love Shasta. Let's do a road trip and we'll go scream some things for people.
Yes, please. Okay, more to come
You know
on
what I
that.
would yeah, that would be cool. What would I yell from the mountaintops? Something really sweet and simple, like, you get to create your own life every single day.
Mm, right. Like you're not held to what happened yesterday. Like, really, right? A lot of times we wake up with regrets, we in general as human beings, or people think over and over and over about the things that went wrong. And it's like, nope, new day. I love that. Thank you.
Ah, thank you.
You have been an absolute blessing and plethora of information, and just an angel and guide to spend time with. So I wonder if you can share where our listeners can find more of you.
If you're on Instagram, I'm there quite a lot. I quit Facebook last year. Ah, that felt good. So if you go to Instagram, I'm Kris with a K, Franken with an EN, and I'm on there every day. You can message me there. There's a link in my bio there that will take you wherever. You can access free meditations that I've created for Insight Timer. You can access my intuitive playbook, which you just sign up on my website and you'll get sent that straight away. That's a really fun little ebook for delving into your beautiful intuitive heart. You can read about my books. It's all through yeah, come find me on Instagram. Let's play there. If you don't have Instagram, then you can just find my website, krisfranken.com.
Fantastic. And all of Kris's information will be in the show notes. Thank you again. So lovely to spend this time with you. And thank you for sharing your heart with our listeners.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for your podcast. Thank you for your gifts and everything that you bring to this world. It's been a huge honor to chat with you today. It's been so lovely to connect with you, and I can't wait for many more.
Yes, I'll see you in Mount Shasta soon.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be there.
Love it. I'm Lisa Eddy, your host of the Sacred Beauty Lifestyle Podcast, which is now being shared here on YouTube. I hope this episode brought you insights and inspiration to radiate and shine with confidence. Remember to subscribe so you receive new episodes hot off the press right when they are released. And follow me on Instagram for more juicy tips at I am Lisa Eddy. Also, ladies and gentlemen, when you subscribe, like, and share these episodes, it helps me to get seen by more people. And that means a lot to me because I am committed to reaching millions of women across the globe and waking them up to the sacred beauty lifestyle, owning their true power and beauty, both inside and out. Now, more than ever, we need more women shining instead of hiding. When we band together, we are unstoppable. This is how we change the world, together. Remember the sacred beauty lifestyle and get on out there and shine. The world needs your light.